A little kind of overwhelmed, but I'm free. So that's the most important thing.
In a standing room only news conference, a wrongly convicted man speaks about his next chapter.
I wasn't going to give him another hour, another minute. I've been in prison almost 42 years for something I didn't do.
Somebody's yelling fire over near the Pioneer Hotel.
Engine 1, 2, 3, Pioneer Hotel. Fire reported.
In 1970, a fire at the Pioneer Hotel in downtown Tucson took the lives of 28 people. It also took more than 41 years from the life of Lewis Taylor.
Lewis felt, and we agreed, that there was sufficient evidence of exoneration out there in the public eye for Lewis to be satisfied that he had done what he needed to do to maintain his principles and yet get the freedom that he desired.
Taylor was 16 when he was arrested and spent those 4 decades behind bars after being wrongfully convicted of setting the fire. The trumped-up case against him was based on scant evidence, questionable testimony,
I thought that the culprit was probably black,
and a determined county attorney's office. The Arizona Justice Project and Pulcinelli teamed up and, using modern science, determined the fire could not be arson. Taylor, now 58, was allowed to forego a new trial, maintain his innocence, and eventually be set free.
I can hold my head high, and just thank God that I survived 42 years.
At national law firm Pulcinelli, attorneys are encouraged to donate their time to assist with volunteer legal work. For young lawyers eager to make a difference, pro bono work provides an excellent training ground and real-world experience. But beyond gaining experience, Pulcinelli's Troy Froderman weighs in on why firms should seek out opportunities to make a difference.
We really do have an obligation, just as a human being, you have an obligation to provide services to people who can't afford it.
Washington, D.C. litigator Mitchell Raup worked for more than 16 years to spare a man's life. Raup, other lawyers, and the Georgia Resource Center fought the state of Georgia on grounds that a medical diagnosis for their client, Al Stripling, had been improperly withheld at Stripling's original trial. That diagnosis of mental retardation would make Stripling ineligible for the death penalty under Georgia law.
It's very hard to prove a mental condition, a medical diagnosis, beyond a reasonable doubt. And if the state can find an expert who disagrees with the diagnosis, that by itself often creates a reasonable doubt.
After years of court challenges, the state agreed to allow Stripling to serve a life sentence. Raup says it's rewarding, personally and professionally, to be able to work for a firm like Pulcinelli, committed to allowing its lawyers to give up their time to turn a person's life around. He cherishes the letter Stripling wrote that reads, "Tell my lawyers I love them, and thanks for saving my life."
Personally, it's great to be able to work for a real client, somebody who's in real trouble and doesn't have access to counsel, and maybe be able to right a serious wrong, as there was in the Stripling case.
As Dennis Palmer strolls by this vibrant apartment complex now under construction, he's amazed at how far the project benefiting disabled veterans has come. Not too long ago, it was an eyesore full of trash that nobody wanted to touch.
It was rat infested, walls were coming down, tires in the middle of the parking lot, and it was completely abandoned.
Out-of-state owners left Kansas City high and dry, neighbors were outraged, and there was no solution in sight. Then Legal Aid of Western Missouri and Pulcinelli lawyers teamed up and formed a unique legal strategy to force the out-of-town owners to sell.
We believe it was the first time that a statute in Missouri called the Abandoned Housing Act would be used to condemn and then get control of a multi-unit housing.
Now, a developer is building an apartment complex for those who served our country near to Kansas City's Veterans Administration Hospital. The turnaround caught the attention of the Kansas City Metropolitan Bar Association, which honored the firm for its pro bono efforts. In Denver, it's all about the children. Polsinelli Lawyers and the Children's Law Center are working together to make a difference in the lives of young people by forming Partnering to Protect Kids. Beyond a monetary commitment, Polsinelli Lawyers are hands-on and using their legal experience and public policy acumen to make a tangible difference.
So it's just been a really big, tremendous, a lot of people getting involved, a lot of different types of way to get involved, and it builds camaraderie and it builds a sense of community around the firm.
One of the first major initiatives was developing legislation requiring in-depth investigations into every child's death in Colorado, which had not previously been done. Now signed into law by the governor, the Child Fatality Review will involve multiple agencies coordinating together in an attempt to answer questions about abuse and neglect and reinforce the value of children who are the future of Colorado.
It is nice to do something to help somebody in need.
Polsinelli Lawyers from coast to coast are changing the lives in the communities they serve, valuing a system based on justice for all.